Alright, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what it is. We got the one, the only, we got Theotis Joe right here, right now on the line. How are you doing this evening?
I'm magnificent, man. What's up, Canada? What's up, the world? What's happening, everybody?
Oh man, nothing much, man, nothing much. You know, just putting in work. Uh, so
Yeah.
we're slowly transitioning into fall down here, man. So it's I'm not used to this cold weather, man. I want summer back.
Oh, it's the same here, man. You know, as we speak, I'm actually sitting here skinning a deer, man. I just killed a deer about maybe. I mean, no offense to all the animal lovers across the world, but I'm a deer hunter. You know what I mean? So this time of year, I go hunting and I fill my freezer. You know what I mean? I feed a lot of people. So I just actually drug this bad boy out of the woods, and I'm cleaning as we speak.
Well, I do want to say first and foremost, man, before we jump into this, I'm actually jealous, man, because I gotta say I love eating venison. That shit's like primo, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So I gotta say I'm jealous that
Yes, sir.
you're gonna be eating some venison.
Oh, don't be jealous, man. We're gonna sit down and have some dinner one of these days.
But I do gotta ask though, man, what made you decide to get into the music industry initially, man? Like going right back to the beginning.
Man, listen, music, hip hop, pretty much music has been in my veins since birth. But hip hop, it's been in my veins since, man. I've heard the early days of just I grew up listening to Dougie Fresh when the show and Slick Rick came out. That's when that was the peak for me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And then after that, it was just through the roof for me, man. And I kind of got into hip hop like in the early, late, I would say late '90s, early, no, late '80s, early '90s. You know what I mean? And Rakim and oh man, it was just the list goes on.
Just the golden age, man, back when hip hop was hip hop.
Exactly.
And also, man, in 2010, so 10 years ago, man, first of all, that's crazy. That's actually, it feels like yesterday is 2010, but you actually released
Yeah.
your debut album entitled After Hours. I have to ask you, what was the inspiration behind that record? And of course, is it still available on the market for our listeners to grab themselves a copy if they don't already have one?
After Hours is definitely still available, and I still get checks in the mail because of it. But we do something one time and collect some residual income off of it. But it's definitely available on iTunes, Amazon, all the digital download sites across the map. You know what I mean? Just type in Theotis Joe. I am the only one, and we'll pop up. You know what I mean? So download it from the digital download source of your preference. And the inspiration behind it, man, was basically it was no real inspiration behind the entire album. It was just I was just doing songs as I always do. I go to the studio consistently. You know what I mean? I believe in consistency and being persistent. You know what I mean? And basically specialize in your craft. So I was just going in the studio, and I met up with a good friend of mine named Lance Davis through another mutual friend of mine, and him and I recorded a couple songs, and he came up with the ideas like, hey, let's just do an album together. You know what I mean? Because we were just recording songs, and one by one, and we recorded so many, so we was like, listen, let's just put together an album. You know what I mean? And put this thing out. And After Hours, actually, I came up with the title After Hours maybe like 4 years prior to me meeting him. A good friend of mine named Spider Keys. He played keys for me in a band. I was in a live band back in 2003 called The Truth, and we was doing the college circuit. You know what I mean? University of Delaware. A lot of different places, Philadelphia, a lot of different spots. And he created the After Hours, actual After Hours track that's featured on the album. And so I never put it out. So I met up with Lance maybe like 5-6 years later in 2008. I'm like, listen, man, I got this song. I like it. It's called After Hours. It's not complete. He came up with this whispering in the voice, After Hours. And I'm like, yo, that is the missing link to the puzzle. You know what I mean? So we completed the song and put it on the album, and I just named the entire album After Hours because I'm a party type dude. I like to have fun. I'm not always serious. You know what I mean? I like to have fun and enjoy life. You know what I mean? So I just called it After Hours.
And also, prior to doing this interview, prior to reaching out to you for this interview, man, I actually was taking a listen to your album, man, After Hours, and I gotta say, one of my favorite tracks, man, is Weekend Thing, man. I don't know exactly
Yeah,
what number it is on the record, but that's the one song that really made me vibe, bro. I really did enjoy that track.
that's what's up, man. What do you like most about that track?
Honestly, man, the flow and the delivery, man, just the vibe was real hip hop, man. And unfortunately, this day and age, we don't really have that within this newer music, man. So it was good to actually have a refresher.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny you brought that up because I saw a post by Music.com, and they were actually paying artists, 500 artists now, $250 to post a song story about a particular song that they like, or a particular song that they've recorded, and to tell a story about it. So I decided to enter the contest, and I was chosen as one of the 500 artists. And they sent me $250, but I chose that particular song, which is Weekend Thing. You know, it's based off a true story. So if you listen to the album, everything I'm saying in the album or that particular record is a true story, you know. And I told my story about that, and they chose it. And it took a couple months, but they sent me the check. I was like, oh, snap. I forgot all about it, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, man, it must have been a good surprise, you know, waking up,
one of
checking
my
your
favorite
mailbox.
tracks as well. Go ahead.
I was just saying it must have been a great surprise waking up and checking your mailbox.
Well, Cash App, you know what I mean, all the same.
Well, most definitely either way, you know, modern day, your phone dings, be like, damn, I'm $250 richer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And also, one of your songs as well was actually featured in the movie and on the soundtrack for Days of Power. I called Rocket Love. I have to ask you, what's the inspiration behind that song? And of course, how does it feel to have your song in a motion picture movie?
First of all, can I cuss on this line?
Oh yes, most definitely, man. We are an uncensored station. Swear away, brother.
Not that you know what I mean. I want to just cuss up a storm, but okay. So Rocket Love is basically fellatio. You know what I mean? And that's my whole thing about Rocket Love. Rocket Love is when a woman gives you head, and so I created that song Rocket Love because of that. And it was like if you listen to the album, there's actually a skit on there of me and a girl talking. It's real intimate. You know what I mean? That's a real skit. I was actually recording that live. You know what I mean? And I had it on tape, and I just decided to use it in the album, and it just worked out perfectly. So I wrote a song about it. And my boy Lance Davis, you know, the co-producer of After Hours album, he was affiliated with a music group out here in Middletown, Delaware, and I think they're based in L.A. as well. They did a movie entitled Days of Power, and they used him to do the score. And fortunately, you know, him and I already had a relationship. They asked him to, you know, use some of their artists' music and also, you know, his artists. And I was chosen as one of the artists to be in the movie, you know what I mean? And it's a pretty cool movie. You have to check it out yourself or whatever to get details of it. But the song came on. I was in the theater at the red carpet, man, and my song came on in the middle of this bathroom scene where these two, a guy and a woman, was just making love in the bathroom in the movie theater, and my song came on. It's just amazing to hear your music on big screen. You know what I mean?
Hey man, most definitely, bro. You know, you must have felt like, you know what, I really made it, man. You know what I mean? You're sitting there at a premiere, your music's playing. That must have been such a surreal feeling for you.
Oh yeah, I was on top of the world. I took a date with me, man. She was just looking at the side of my head the whole time, like, damn, who is this dude?
She was probably like, damn, I'm glad I met you.
For real.
But I have to say, I've heard of that movie, but I haven't really had the opportunity to check it out. But now that I You know what I mean? I'm getting a little familiar with it. I'm probably gonna check it out tonight, man. I most definitely will. I'm gonna Google it, or if I try to find it on Netflix. But either way, if not, I most definitely will rent it up on Amazon.
Yeah, why not? Pop some popcorn and sit back.
And I
Go
also
to
saw that, so sorry about that, but I also saw that you were actually featured in a post in Forbes Magazine. I have to ask you, what was that experience like? As Forbes Magazine is one of the biggest magazines in the world.
Forbes Magazine. Shit, I don't know nothing about that one. If I was featured in Forbes Magazine, send me the article so I can see that one. That's amazing.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I mean? Google's a crazy thing, but what I will do is I'll actually see if I can go back and find that post, and I'll send that over to you.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Because if you're in that magazine, man, you know what I mean. You got to get that money.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But also, you are featured on the Hype Track 2 Volume 3 mixtape. I have to ask you, can you tell us a bit more about that project? And of course, where can our listeners actually snag a copy of that particular mixtape?
What's the name of the mixtape?
The Hype Tracks Volume 3 mixtape.
Again, that's another one I don't even know about. You know what I mean? Send me that one too, so I can take a look at it.
Most definitely, yeah. I did notice that it was a San Diego mixtape as well, and I do notice that some people from like the Bay Area sometimes do like to use people's music on mixtapes.
Oh, word. Send me that, man. I like to hear it. You know what I mean? The more the merrier. You know what I mean? The more you out there, the merrier. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody wants to collaborate or use the music in any type of way whatsoever, do it. You know what I mean? At least hit me up and let me know it's there. You know what I mean? So I can enjoy it as well.
Yeah, I actually interviewed a few people that actually were like in mixtapes, and they were like, I had no clue, but I had one individual that really told us the backstory actually on the mixtape situation out in the Bay. I had Young Noble of
Okay.
Outlaws on the station. He was saying that people in the Bay, they just actually just take the music, put it on the mixtape, and sell it at swap meets and whatnot. And I'm just like, oh damn, like, yeah,
Well,
like, that's crazy.
well, yeah, you get a lot of that bootlegging across the map. It's been going on for years. You know what I mean? I'm really not the type that's gonna come bum rush your stand and snatch all your tapes or whatever. You know what I mean? But I've had people come up to me and say, hey, you know, I heard your music on this radio station, or I heard your music on this tape, or whatever. I'm like, word. So my question is to them, what did you like most about it? You know what I mean? Was it dope? Was it some whack shit? You know what I mean? Just if it was good, cool. You know what I mean? If it's some bullshit, let me know.
Most definitely, you know, and let's see, like a lot of people like to let people know as well, just because you know, get their money. But some people are also like, man, I don't care as long as my music's getting out there, right? There's always two different types of people within the music industry.
Don't get me wrong. I like a check.
Oh man, most definitely, man. It puts food on the plate.
Yes, sir.
But also, you have a song called "In My Town," which is another one of my absolute favorite tracks of yours. But I have to ask you, what's the inspiration and story behind that amazing track?
Okay, so in my town, man, I met a good friend of mine. His name is Nelson Williams. I met him in the barbershop. You know, didn't even know this guy from a can of paint, but he was there getting his hair cut, and my brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law, was playing, you know, just listening to some tracks or whatever, and it's like, yeah, my brother-in-law raps this and that, you know, so we got the vibing, and I was like, listen, man, he's from Jamaica. You know, the Jamaicans just got that Jamaican accent, you know what I mean? I mean, straight up, I was like, yo, I think you would be perfect for this particular song that I have. It's called "In My Town." So I spit the chorus to him, and when he sung that man, I was like, oh my God, you are the missing piece to the puzzle. Sometimes it just takes time to find the right element to a song. You can't rush things all the time. You know what I mean? You just have that missing piece to the puzzle, and he was the missing piece to the puzzle. So I told him, I said, all right, in 2 weeks, we're going to go into the studio and record this song, man. I want you to come through. Can you do that? And he was like, yes. He came through and show and proved, you know, and basically the inspiration behind the song was, you know, it's a lot of gun violence going on, you know, everywhere, you go, you know, around the world, you know, I mean, whether it be Canada, U.S., you know what I mean, overseas, everywhere. If you're in inner city, it's always some type of violence going on, especially with police brutality, you know, and it's becoming more prominent these days. And that was kind of like the inspiration behind that song. You know, in my town, everybody has a story of a snitch. Everybody has a story of a cop. Everybody has a story of some type of something, you know, whether it's somebody breaking into your house or snatching your drugs or whatever. You know what I mean? That was the inspiration behind that song. And it turned out pretty great, especially with him on it. He was the missing piece of the puzzle.
And also, I noticed via Amazon as well that other than you being an artist, you are also a book author as well, man. You actually have your own book out on Kindle called Jaden and Zion. I have to ask you, what made you decide to actually get into writing books? And of course, other than Amazon, where are your books available to be purchased?
Well, Jaden and Zion is the correct pronunciation.
My apologies.
Those are my two sons. Jaden is now 11, Zion is 9, and they inspire me, man. You know, I look at those guys and look at the things that they do. You know, they just basically inspire me, and the inspiration behind those books are all due to them. So I call it Jaden and Zion's. Jaden and Zion. I can't even think